You know, we all have those places where we're supposed to feel safe. A music festival, a beach house, a quiet little rental out in the desert. There are escapes. But what happens when that feeling of safety just completely shatters? Today, we're diving into 3 true stories where that creepy feeling of being watched becomes a terrifying reality.
I mean, really think about it for a second. That little prickle on the back of your neck, that sudden unexplainable urge to just look over your shoulder. Look, most of the time, it's nothing. But for the people in these stories, that feeling was a warning they almost didn't listen to. And it all started in places they never, ever would have expected.
So first up, we're going to Coachella. For 2 friends, this was the trip, the one they'd been planning forever. You know the vibe, it's like a fairy tale world plopped right into the middle of the desert. Massive crowds, nonstop music. It's a place where for just a few days, you can feel totally and completely free. The perfect escape, right?
Okay, next we're heading over to San Diego for a family visit. And the setting is, it's literally postcard perfect. A gorgeous villa right on the beach with a guest room that has this flawless view of the ocean. It's the kind of summer trip that's just designed for making nothing but good memories.
And for our last story, a trip to Palm Springs. This takes us to a super modern, quiet Airbnb, kind of on the edge of the desert. The listing actually promised it was very private. You know, the exact kind of place you'd book to just disconnect from everything and chill out by the pool.
So, in all 3 of these picture-perfect settings, the exact same pattern starts to play out. And it starts small. It's just a strange feeling, an odd coincidence, a quiet sound you can't quite place. It's that first moment where your intuition is screaming that something is off, but your logical brain is right there trying to convince you you're just being paranoid.
And this is where you can really see that battle playing out inside their heads. On one side, you have all the rationalizations. At Coachella, she's thinking, it was probably just the Molly. In San Diego, he keeps seeing this same guy in his photos and just shrugs it off as a weird coincidence. In Palm Springs, they hear noises and chalk it up to wind or maybe an animal. But on the other side, there's the disturbing reality. It wasn't random, not at all. It was a pattern.
And this quote from the woman at Coachella, wow, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? There's this incredible social pressure to just stay cool, to not make a scene. She felt like something was deeply, deeply wrong, but she laughed it off. Why? Because she didn't want to sound like the paranoid friend. It's a feeling I think a lot of us can probably relate to.
Okay, so this is where everything changes. This is the turning point. The moment that weird background noise becomes the main event. That feeling you dismissed becomes an undeniable, absolutely terrifying presence. The what if suddenly becomes what now?
Back at Coachella, the man she'd been seeing all day, he finally makes his move. It starts with him being way too flirty, just making her uncomfortable. But then, all of a sudden, her friend vanishes. And his offer to help find her, the way he said it, his eagerness, wasn't friendly, it was predatory. And that was the final screaming alarm bell. In San Diego, the escalation is just terrifyingly fast. It starts with a simple tapping sound. But then he looks, and the man from all the photos is right there at his window, waving at him. Before he can even process what's happening, the guy's running up the stairs, the front door opens, and then the handle to his own bedroom door starts shaking like crazy. The threat isn't outside anymore, it's in the house.
And in Palm Springs, the proof shows up as this timeline of terror. This wasn't some random animal setting off a motion light. No way. This was a deliberate path. One light goes on, then another, systematically tracking someone's movement around the property, circling them in the dark.
So after the couple in the house traces this path of lights to a backyard storage shed, a voice comes from inside it. A calm, polite, and absolutely unsettling request from the man who's hiding just feet away from them. And then came the sound that made the whole situation infinitely worse. A small, quiet laugh. It's the sound of someone who knows they have all the power. Someone who is actually enjoying the absolute terror they're creating.
And here's the number that really drives the fear home. In that isolated desert house, help was 20 minutes away. For 20 long minutes, they were locked inside, knowing that the man who had just laughed at their fear was right outside, circling their house. I mean, can you imagine? That's an eternity.
So now let's shift from that immediate terror to the aftermath. This is the part of the story where the victims finally find the cold, hard proof that their intuition, their so-called paranoia, their fear, all of it was completely and totally justified.
I mean,
You have to imagine the self-doubt they must have been feeling. At Coachella, she was on drugs. Was it all just a hallucination? In San Diego, did he just dream the man at the window? In Palm Springs, maybe it was just some stupid prank. They needed proof, not just for the police, but for themselves.
And then they found it. At the Coachella Airbnb, muddy boot prints on the floor, leading right up to the bedroom doorway. In the San Diego house, a hidden camera, proof they hadn't just been watched, they'd been recorded. And in Palm Springs, a stranger's dirty baseball hat, confirming the intruder had, without a doubt, been inside the house.
But the story never ends when the police arrive, does it? The violation itself has lasting consequences. As you can see here, the woman from Coachella developed PTSD. She now has this instinct to always check her doorway. The guy from San Diego is left with this lingering, awful fear of being watched. And for the couple in Palm Springs, it's the chilling knowledge that a stranger was inside their house with them while they slept.
So ultimately, what these three stories really give us is this powerful, unsettling validation. They're a stark reminder that sometimes that little voice in your head telling you something is wrong, it isn't paranoia. It's your intuition screaming at you to pay attention.
And that really just leaves us with one final lingering question. We all dismiss things, right? A strange noise, a weird feeling, that sense of being watched. But after hearing these stories, you really have to wonder, what sound have you ignored in the dark?